Hey everybody, I'm Natalia Bonner. Welcome. Happy Monday. Okay, I am super excited to officially introduce to you guys what we've been working on behind the scenes over here. Something pretty awesome that we are so excited about. So if you all remember, starting January 1st of this year, we had a fun online interactive class called Let's Stitch Scallop Borders. So that class was awesome. I actually still have several of you stitching along with me and quilting out your scallop border designs. And you all, everybody that stitched along, is doing amazing. I'm so proud of everybody that's taken that class. Just so that everybody is aware, these online classes that I teach, when I do teach them, we start out the class with like a 5 to 6 week, however long the class starts out as. But then after that point, after the first initial 5, 6 weeks, whatever ends, we go into all of the videos are left in the groups forever. You're welcome to join these classes at any time. You do have access to these lessons at any time. We just start out with a little bit, it starts out the class with a little bit of a stitch along kind of thing, and then it goes to where you guys can rewatch the videos at your own pace, whenever, on your own time, at any time. So you do have access to the lessons once you sign up for my classes forever. So why are we here today? What's the new class or classes that I am excited to tell you about? So I thought it would be really fun to work this summer through a whole bunch of actual quilt blocks. So as you know, I've been doing my stitch along where I've been showing you guys how to quilt all these designs in 365 quilt blocks, but I want to show you guys quilt blocks that you're going to see in actual quilts and hopefully inspire each of you to jump out of your comfort zone and really have fun with your own machine quilting. So in this class, what can you expect? So I actually have 2 classes that will be coming out soon. On March 1st, 2020, we are officially releasing the whole entire class called Let's Stitch Flying Geese. So this is kind of a little mini class where there's 25 flying geese lessons available on March 1st. You can download all 25 lessons and stitch out all of your flying geese designs. Why do I have that? Why the flying geese, and why are they all released at the same time? Well, the reason that we've done that, this lovely panel here that I'm obsessed with, this is the sample panel that I did quilt all of the designs for the Let's Stitch Quilt Blocks class, focusing on the blocks. But I also wanted to give you guys a little bit more. So at the top and the bottom of this panel, there's 25 flying geese on the top and 25 flying geese on the bottom. I wanted to give you a whole bunch of really cool designs that you could stitch just on flying geese blocks. So this little mini class is to get you started. You can use these designs for the top of the quilt, and you can also reuse them on the bottom and see how much you've improved in your own machine quilting as you work your way through the main class portion of this sampler quilt. So what is the main class? Well, in this class, you may notice a little bit behind me how it's set up. So this panel has 36 quilt block designs. So I'm going to be teaching you step by step how to quilt 36 quilt block designs, but it's just 18 quilt blocks. So how does that work out? What's going to happen for 6 weeks, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I will release 5 a.m. like we've done with all of our previous classes at 5 a.m. on those days in the Facebook group. We will release a lesson. Each lesson in this class will contain 2 videos. So the first video will be version 1, how to quilt your quilt block. The second will be version 2, how to quilt your quilt block. So it's essentially one block, and I'm going to teach you 2 completely different ways to quilt this quilt block. Pretty cool. So what I'm really trying to do with this is inspire you to quilt your quilt blocks in different ways. Some quilts, definitely you want everything the similar look and style, but maybe there's a quilt you want feathers, or maybe there's a quilt you want more straight line, or different things like that. I'm going to use so many different rulers, tools, notions in this class. You all are going to end up being rock stars when this class is over. Okay, so what are you guys going to quilt your quilt blocks on? So if you've taken my classes before, you know that with the last class, with the Scallop Borders class, we had a panel, or there was an optional layout how to make your own. Well, with this class, what we've decided to do, we still have an awesome panel. I love quilting on the panels because they're ready to go. They're printed nice and the blocks are square. They're better than my piecing. Shh, don't tell anyone. They're better than my piecing. They're just so flat, ready to start quilting. I honestly, I don't even wash them or press them. I just load them on the machine and I'm ready to start quilting. But if you do want to work from your stash, if you don't necessarily want to work on one of these panels, you can work from your stash. So we have also a few options. On my blog, I do have, and I'm saying this as is. So we do have as is instructions how to make just the blocks on the body of the quilt. There's no putting it together instructions, and it does not include the flying geese. So just an option if you want to do that. However, we've also created a step-by-step pattern piecing. We're calling it a workbook, but it's really a pattern book that teaches you step-by-step. It's more refined than what you're going to find on the blog. We've taken the time to go over and edit and make sure everything is correct in the workbook. And it does also include layout instructions, how to piece the flying geese at the top and bottom, how to put it all together with the borders and different things like that. So there's 3 options. Also, like my previous classes though, if you wanted to make this more of a whole cloth quilt and quilt your own, you can totally do that. You can mark out all of these designs. We don't have a marking layout or anything like that. You'd have to figure it all on your own, but we do have people that have quilted along in the other classes that have used just solid fabric and drawn out their designs and stitched their designs on that. So the sky's the limit. There's really no rules when it comes to all of this. We do love it when you share your progress in the Facebook groups after the class starts. We have awesome Facebook groups. They're really great community builders. We've loved having them. So it's fun for you to share those pictures and images and things like that in that group. But really, as far as what you quilt on, this is all to inspire you. We've created these other products, the panel, the piecing workbook, all of that, just as tools to help you most efficiently get ready to start quilting. So like my last class where we had a workbook available, we also have a workbook available for this class. Now, what is a workbook and why would the workbook be helpful? If you guys are like me, I am super visual. For me to learn, I either start out with a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen and start doodling and then go to the machine. So we've created these fun workbooks that have designs of every single one of these blocks. So in the workbook, you'll see this design right here. There will be an image that shows all of the stitching all complete on the design so that you can clearly see printed out in full color this design. Then on the next page next to it is this same block, but it's blank. It has no stitching lines, nothing on it. Why have we done that? So in these sketchbooks, like I said, there's the design, then there's the blank one, and repeated all the way through. I've done this so that you can clearly see my design. You can add elements by doodling this, and then you can use the one next to it to sketch out the same design or use your imagination. This is a great place for you to practice and really take your creativity up a level. You know, sketch out something. If you don't like it, erase it and start over. So a great companion to this class. Supplies. Okay, what supplies are you going to need for this exciting class? First thing first, a machine. I do all of my machine quilting on a Gammill 22-inch machine, and I am going to be stitching everything that you will see on this whole entire class, the blocks class or the flying geese class. Everything that you will see, I will be stitching in the stitch regulated mode. Every time I stop and start, I have my needle in the down position. I also will be doing all of my machine quilting that you'll see here with the extended base plate. So this is the ruler base plate because you are going to see some free motion work and some ruler work. So if I'm ever combining the two at all, which is pretty much every single quilt that I quilt unless it's computerized, I have my ruler base plate on there. I know somebody's going to comment when you see the videos and say, your quilts look so flat and so everything on there. It's because I have my ruler extended base plate on my machine. It kind of plays a little trick on the camera with that on there. But I will have that on for all of my quilting, and I will have my stitch length set at 12 stitches per inch. Now, if you are not working on a longer machine, you can totally do these on your domestic machine as well. Every lesson that you're going to see here is step by step. I am teaching you how to move through the block designs, how to quilt out each of the designs. In my other classes, in my stitch along different places, I have had many of you stitching along on your domestic machines or on sit down machines, things like that, and create amazing results. So all of this is totally doable on a longer machine or a sit down machine. So what else do you need to stitch along? So as far as knowing how to work your machine, so like I said, I do all my quilting on the Gamma 22-inch machine. I know my machine really well. However, I'm not a machine dealer and I'm not a machine repairman, and I do not know how to work every type of machine there is out there. There are a lot of different types of machines. So if you do have specific machine problems with your machine, the very best advice I can give you is reach out to your dealer. When buying a machine, always buy it from a great dealer. That's something that's really important. But if you need any help with machine specific things, please reach out to your machine dealer. Threads that I'm going to be using on the top, I am using So Fine thread. You will see here that I will stick with just one thread color, the color number 401, across this whole entire thing. Obviously, there are some places where it's going to be pretty high contrast, but with a quilt like this, because I'm filming myself quilting and I want you to be able to see my quilting, I was okay with the contrast things like that. If this were your actual quilt, if you're going to put this quilt on your bed after, you may want to consider changing thread colors. On my bobbin, on my backing of the quilt, I do have just a neutral type backing. It's a backing that's a white print with a little, it's a white with a little print on it. So pretty much a white background or backing. So why did I use that? Well, I knew that I was going to be using a mostly white thread on my quilt top. So I did plan my quilt backing according to what I have on the quilt top. So by choosing something that's mostly white on the backing, working with a bottom line thread on my bobbin and a nice white color of thread, I end up with really great results with my thread, everything like that on the top and the bottom. So my sample here is quilted out. It looks really flat. You can see a lot of great dimension and texture in my machine quilting. One of the reasons why you can see such awesome texture with my quilting is the batting that I'm using. So in this particular one, the sample right here, I have one layer of the Quilter's Dream Poly Deluxe batting. So it has a really great loft to it. It's not too lofty. It's still a little bit of a low loft, but it also creates really awesome texture in my machine quilting. All these products that I am mentioning here today are available for purchase over on our website, peaceandquilt.com. So throughout this class, there will be a few different times where I show you some marking and places that you could mark. I'll show you things that you could mark. I don't do a ton of marking. Obviously, I mark reference points and things like that. If you ever feel, when I'm walking you through these designs, if you need to add more marking, less marking, whatever, totally go ahead and do that. As I walk you through these designs in this class, this is for you to learn and to develop your skills. So I'm showing you what I use, but I encourage you to practice and try different things and see what you like. I will be doing all of my marking using one of these awesome blue Mark Be Gone markers. I like to use these. I do have a tutorial showing you how to easily remove the markings. We'll post a link to that below that you can check out. Now, one of the products that I do like to use to remove my markings as I go, because I love instant gratification, is the misting spray bottle. So like I said, we have these over on our website. I mix up my little solution, put it in here, and just mist away those blue marked lines as I go. Okay, another thing that or a couple more things I should say that I do recommend that you have close to your quilting machine when you're ready to start this class. Now, these aren't always the things that I want to recommend, but sometimes they come in handy, like a heavy duty, awesome little seam ripper for you to pick out if there are any mistakes. I try not to call them mistakes, just design elements. Also, a pair of great little scissors, little snips that you can clip your threads as you're going. Another thing you may want to have with you is like a little tape measure type thing that you can measure different points on your quilts. Obviously, all of my machine quilting rulers that you will use in this class do have markings, but sometimes an actual tape measure is helpful when quilting out your designs. Speaking of rulers, what rulers are we going to be using? So in this class, I really did want to improve your skills and help you use a variety of different tools and learn how to use all of these different tools. So I am actually going to be using all 5 of my machine quilting rulers. Now, if you don't have all 5, you could possibly do most of the designs using either the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler and the mini inside out, or the regular 4-in-1 and the regular inside out, but there are definitely points in some of these designs where it would be helpful to have all 5 of my machine quilting rulers, which are, I'll just quickly show them to you. This is the inside out machine quilting ruler. This is my 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. I do want to point out to you that I have some grip. This is the Westerly staple tape on the back of this ruler. Now, when you're starting out with your machine quilting, if you struggle, if the rulers are slipping, honestly, even still, after quilting for all of these years, sometimes I feel like it's nice to have something extra on the back there that'll help me keep things nice and stable. So the Westerly stable tape is a great option. There are a few places where we'll stitch some really longer kind of straight lines, and the length on this is the trailer machine quilting ruler, is really, really helpful for a few of the blocks in this class. And then my brand new machine quilting ruler. So definitely at the top, and also the flying geese on the bottom of this quilt I definitely use, but also several throughout the body. My brand new rulers, they do have, so I'll quickly just tell you about these. This is my brand new mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. I've had a few of you ask already. So this does have the bottom line across the bottom is straight. This ruler is shorter than the previous 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. The markings are very similar based off of your needle position, but the 3 curves on the 3 sides of the new mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler are different from the original 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. So they're similar, they look similar, but they're actually a little bit different curves, and I'm going to show you how to use those in this class. Then also the new mini inside out machine quilting ruler. So the main curves on these 2 rulers, the tops on both, are companion curves. Then the curves, this curve on the outside and this angular line and this bottom line are similar to what was on the original inside out machine quilting ruler. Alrighty friends, I am so excited about this class. Like I told you, registration will open on March 1st, 2020, and then the class will officially start on June 1st, 2020. Anybody who registers, hold on just a second, before May 25th, 2020, will receive something really exciting. One other thing I do want to tell you though, all the blocks in this quilt are 12-inch blocks. The flying geese at the top and bottom are 6-inch by 3-inch flying geese. So if you do use this panel, the panel is available through Honest Fabric. We have links for all of that, but you have to use the largest size panel to get the 12-inch blocks. This quilt right here is huge. It finishes at 88 by 104 inches. Awesome bed size quilt. So who's ready to get stitching with me?